Welcome to Business Now. Small and medium businesses in Kenya have cited financial constraints in their growth journey as one of their biggest challenges. And to delve into possible solutions to this in the face of the economic downturn being experienced across the country currently, we have Geoffrey Nyamao, the head of SME and agribusiness in Faulu Bank. Welcome to this conversation as we delve into what is happening in the SME sector, perhaps looking back into last year. And then as we start off this new year, how has the landscape been?
Thank you so much, Melissa,
yes,
first for having me. It's a privilege to be here, just engage on this very critical topic. Yeah, so looking at last year, in terms of the SME landscape, we saw significant growth in terms of the interest rates.
Okay.
With the heavy government borrowing locally that crowded out the private sector. And the SMEs were the greatly affected, sector in that. So that really meant that the capacity of them meeting the monthly obligations was compromised significantly. And we saw quite a bit of non-performing facilities, on the rise continuously. That is one. Two, we also saw significant fuel spikes. Fuel really went up.
Yes.
Very many percentages. And that meant that the disposable income of SMEs was affected. And even, the other consumers that, would want to come and get commodities from the SMEs, they were not able to because of the squeeze in terms of their disposable income. Last year, we also saw introduction of interest, specific taxes that really went up. And those taxes also had an impact on the SMEs and the other consumers in the market. So because of some of those interventions or actions by the government, then SMEs were significantly challenged. They were not able to meet their obligations, as and when they fell due. Yeah, so that meant that most of them fell back in terms of their creditors. They were not able to honor those payments in time, and that really affected them in very many ways. We know there are those who are involved in cross-border trade.
Yes.
With the dollar rates really going up, that meant that they were not able to get the commodities that they needed, to be able to supply, so then they can get their margins. That means their margins were so squeezed. That speaks to how the dynamics played out in the last year and, coming into this year. But then the expectation, we've seen fuel prices getting to stabilize and coming to come down slowly. Then we have expectations that there's going to be improvement in terms of the quality of, how much disposable income that they will have going forward in this coming year.
So how then can they better manage their finances into this year, given that that is the landscape that they are facing? And that considering a lot of them are also still struggling to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. They were just stabilizing and then now these issues happened. So yeah, how do you feel they can better manage their finances into this year?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's important, and thanks a lot, Melissa, for that question. It's really important for our SMEs out there to really manage their resources as much as possible. Now, the first thing that we encourage, our SMEs to do is to be very good at record keeping. Because I will tell you, at the end of the day, if you're not able to account for each and every penny that you receive, then ultimately you've lost it, in one way. So the first thing that we do is we encourage and we train. One of the things that as Faulu we do is we train you in terms of bookkeeping, so that at the end of the day, you're able to track each and every cent. So if you're not able to track, then that means there could be some money that falls through the cracks. That is the first thing that we do. Secondly is you also need to ensure that when you're doing your orders, to get your supplies from your suppliers, you need to take advantage of discounts that are available. Now, how would you get the discounts? What you need to do is to ensure that you plan yourself very well and you get your goods in bulk. Then that would give you that benefit. When you have that benefit, then that means your margins will be at an acceptable level. And not only that, the next thing that we encourage our SMEs to do out there is to ensure that you work very closely with other players within your space in that ecosystem. If you're in construction, for example, you have those who have hardwares there. There are those who sell, materials. So you need to really work very closely with them. When you do that, then that would help you, give you a benefit that as and when you need those specific goods, then they are readily available for you. Something else that we also encourage our SMEs to do is to participate in forums. For example, today we have the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Yes.
That is available for you, where you get to network, get to learn best practices, get to appreciate what is actually happening in the market, so that then you're ultimately able to pick out on that which is happening, and that would put you ahead in terms of your resource management. Something else that we're also encouraging, our SMEs to do out there is to leverage on technology. Today, there are many businesses out there reeling from the effects of COVID.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a physical big space whereby you spend so much money in terms of rent. You can cut down on that space and leverage on the internet, whereby you can do your marketing, you get your business right there without incurring so many overheads. Something else that we're encouraging our SMEs to do, ask yourself, do you need 10 resources in your business?
Okay, those sobering questions must
Those
be
are
there.
critical questions. So the question is, if you can work with 5 that will be effective and deliver as expected, then you really need to review, your cost base, so that ultimately you can be ahead. Look at all your cost drivers in your business, and that would really go a long way in putting you ahead in terms of how you can grow your business and don't strain in terms of resources.
I will ask you, because I know you're in the banking space, and the first thing that an entrepreneurs, when they have this idea that they want to start a business, they will say, credit, where am I going to get financing to start off? And then commercial banks are kind of shy to finance the SME sector. Talk to me about that, and what is this credit risk that you are not very friendly towards the SMEs? Is it a notion, or it's a truth that you're not friendly to the SMEs when it comes to now giving them credit to start the businesses? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's an interesting question.
I had to throw that in because I know you're from the commercial sector.
Yeah, yes. Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, so one of the things that that is really important for SMEs, they are a very critical segment in the economy. They contribute to millions of jobs. In the economy today. And I will tell you, it's really important that we put our eyes there, give them specific focus, so that ultimately we are able to support them. Now, one of the things that we've noticed why you'd find some institutions shying away and not embracing the SMEs is because, number one, we have challenges with record keeping, so that you are not able to ascertain the actual turnover of this specific customer. So they'll tell you that they are turning over, say, 2 million, per month, but you're not able to trace
it.
the funds to a specific account, or they don't have actually the actual records that would confirm that. That is one of the things that becomes a challenge for our SMEs out there.
Okay.
And the second thing that we've also noticed that becomes a challenge to our SMEs out there that makes them not access the financing that they need is that they don't involve themselves in those groupings and professional groups that have all traders together. We have associations that have traders together so that they can get to learn from one another. In the sense that you pick lessons. There are those who have been in this space for a longer time. You pick lessons from them so that then it keeps you ahead of the pack. One of the things that also becomes a challenge is, looking at this specific business, you'll notice that most of our small businesses, they have borrowed these short-term facilities from different entities. We have all these apps for borrowing. And at the end of the day, you'll find them listed. They've borrowed at 20,000 here, 30,000 there. At the end of the day, they forget actually about it until the time they need financing from an institution. That's when they realize, wait a minute. When the CRB report is spooled, you notice that they are listed. They are struggling with that. So that's where we really come in and ensure that we train them so that they can get to appreciate the importance of keeping their records. That's number one. Number two, that financial discipline is really important. And in most cases, you'll find that those short-term borrowings
Yeah.
are largely for consumption,
Yes.
not for the business.
You cannot even trace exactly what it is that they helped you do. That's the sad part, eh?
That's the sad part. So because of that, then we're able to build your capacity and get to show you, train you on some of the potholes that are there in terms of financial management, so that ultimately you are bankable,
Yeah.
you know, as a business. And one of the things that we encourage as much as possible is to ensure that when you do your sales, kindly ensure that the funds that you get are banked somewhere.
Okay.
You can withdraw the following day to do your purchases and all that, but as much as possible, ensure that you bank that. That would also help you in terms of managing your resources. You're able to track very closely and know that I received this amount of money, I utilized this much in doing purchases, and these are my margins, you know, going forward. And that would put you in a very good place as an SME to be able to get a specific financing. Something else that is also a challenge is when you find an SME that is not very clear in terms of the need that they are solving in the economy.
Oh, okay.
What is the need that you're solving? So if you're not very clear about the need that you're solving, at the end of the day, if you're granted that money, it would be a curse instead of it being a blessing. Because at the end of the day, you'll find yourself diverting that money. So we also get to appreciate that, are you very clear as an SME in terms of what is your market? You know, what is competition doing in that specific space? You know, are you ahead or you're behind? You know, what is actually happening in that? So when we notice that you're not very clear in terms of the market that you're serving, then it becomes a challenge for you to get finance. That is why we ensure that as much as possible, you've done some very good industry analysis. If you're opening a shop, for example, a hardware in a specific place, how many other hardwares are there? Because I will tell you, if there are many other competing players in that space, then your level of sales will not be so high, because you'll be splitting all those sales with the other, you know, players. So there's quite a bit of work that we do in terms of building their capacity so that we prepare them for financing.
Okay.
Yes.
So I love that you're from Faulu Bank, and you're going to tell us a bit about what you're doing as a bank in terms of growth and sustainability for the SME sector. You probably want to touch a bit about that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, so that's a good one. So as Faulu Bank, one of the things that we've done is appreciating the importance of SMEs in our country today in terms of contributing to the growth of the economy. The first thing that we've always done is we have organized annually on a monthly basis targeted forums that target different sectors. You know, we proceed, identify those who are in the construction sector, those who are in property management, those who are in transport, those who are in all these sectors, those who are traders. We identify them, put them together, train them on what is expected of them in that specific space. Because of the fact that we've had an experience, you know, supporting different customers in different sectors for a long time. If you're in agribusiness, we bring them together, train you, point at what is actually happening so that ultimately you are able to remain ahead of the pack. That is the first thing that we've done. The second thing that we've done as Faulu Bank today is we've come up with structured products that meet specific needs. For example, you'll get a customer who's in need of some short-term financing that will be able to, you know, meet their specific needs. So we've come up with those structured products that meets those unique needs of our customers out there. So that is a benefit, you know, that comes to our customers. One of the things that we've also done is we've done strategic partnerships with the different development financial partners that work very closely with us to ensure that we provide solutions. If you needed some financing and, you know, for you to get some competitive rates, then there are some guarantees that come to play so that ultimately, as a customer, you get a benefit from that, depending on the sector in which you are. One of the things that we've also done as, you know, Faulu Bank is, you know, looking at different sectors and players. For example, those who are in transport sector, we've come up with solutions that would meet their unique needs. For example, probably they would need some specialized, you know, asset financing, that would support them in that regard. Education, those who are in education, you will need some, short-term solutions when, children are, on holiday, so that then you do your developments, so that by the time the children are back, the classrooms and the compound is very okay. So we have solutions that meet those specific and unique needs for your customers, out there. So there are all these solutions that we've come up with as Faulu Bank, appreciating the critical importance of our SMEs out there. So having that appreciation, then you have an opportunity in Faulu Bank to be able to come and have a tailored solution that meets your unique needs. Because we notice that for our SMEs out there, they have diverse needs. So what Faulu Bank has done today is coming up with specific tailored solutions that meet those unique needs for our customers out there, so that then ultimately we're able to enable them thrive despite the hard economic times, the challenges that are currently in place. They're able to grow, and that is our focus each and every moment.
So we are slowly embracing the agribusiness sector. Probably talk about that a bit in terms of how they're embracing the whole growth process of financing that they probably need to grow their businesses. What is your take on them? How is that sector performing so far?
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, so agribusiness is another very critical sector that as a bank we are keen on ensuring that they grow, because food security is a main concern. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that happens that makes us laugh at times, that you'll find that when it rains, we have floods. But then shortly after, we are finding ourselves we're having serious droughts. So what we do is we ensure that we've come up with structured solutions that are able to support those players in the agribusiness space. So one of the things that we do is to ensure that, for example, once it rains, we have partnered with specific partners that will get you tanks that will be able to store that water, so that then you are able to do irrigation, so that ultimately you're sure that you're able to survive those specific months when there's no rain. So that's the first thing that we've done. And we've also even underground, tanks. We get to save all that water, so that at the end of the day, you're able to grow, your business and grow it. One of the things that we've also done in terms of agribusiness is we've come up with signed agreements with aggregators. So that at the end of the day, when you do your produce, you've got your tomatoes. Tomatoes are actually highly, they very easily get destroyed if they are not well maintained. So what we've done is we've gotten into agreements with aggregators that would, as soon as you produce, you get your produce ready, you will get in touch with this aggregator who will get this at a minimum. There's a minimum price that comes with it, so that saves that agri player in that space, so that then they're able to grow. And one of the things that we've also done, just to ensure that that food security, which is a very critical one, we've done market linkages. So in terms of market linkages, what we've done is we've had agreements with the different players within different sectors. We've said we have customers here that do melons, for example. There are customers here that do this specific produce. So we do those connections, those through the partnerships that we're currently having in place, so that you're guaranteed that that produce doesn't get destroyed in the market. And one of the things that we've also done is we've also ensured that we've come up with specific agrovets across the industry, and ensure that we've certified and looked at the quality of their input. Because at the end of the day, for you to get the produce that you need, the quality of input is as important as possible. So what we've done is we've identified those specific agrovets, and we've worked closely with our farmers out there and ensure that we've referred them. So if you need this specific produce, if you need to do your maize that will go to Kenya Seed, you ensure you get in touch with that agrovet, get your produce, plant it. At the end of the day, you are sure that the quality of output will be at the expected level. So that really makes a very big difference for our agribusiness customers out.
I want to wrap this conversation up, but I'm going to ask you about a marketplace and faith, because I know you're from the faith sector and you're working in the secular social world. Talk a bit about that. Is it different for us who are in the social corporate world? Is it different for us to exercise our faith out there? I would throw that question at you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you so much for that question. Now, one of the things that that is really special, when Adam and Eve were, created, Adam was created first. He was put in the Garden of Eden to till it and tend it. That is the calling that he received at that given point.
Yes.
So while we were created and given specific responsibilities, right here, there are those of us who are bankers, there are those of us who are doctors. The responsibility that we have in our marketplaces is to witness for the master. That is the calling that we have.
Wow.
That wherever you are, you work as unto the Lord.
As unto the Lord.
As unto the Lord. That is the calling that we have. So at the end of the day, if you're a banker, Christ needs to be seen as you serve your customers. If you're a doctor, Christ needs to be seen as you serve your customers. If you're an engineer, wherever you work, if you're a lawyer, you need to witness for him wherever you are, because God has put you there for a purpose. And that purpose for sure needs to be accomplished by you being there.
Awesome.
And for me, that is how I look at it.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Geoffrey Nyamao, the head of SME and agribusiness. I know you're thinking he's a pastor. Yes, he is a marketplace pastor for that matter. Positioned at Faulu Bank, the head of agribusiness and SME at Faulu Bank. Thank you for making time for us on Business News today. Thank you so much. We continue the business news after this short break.